Hey, everybody, welcome back to Mile High edition of Armchair Quarterbacks. I'm Michael Worth.
I'm Nick Duran, and we're going to get right into today's topics. Michael Worth, first day of spring training.
Yes, sir.
Exciting. Baseball is back officially. A lot of question marks this season from a baseball standpoint. Thoughts initially for the Rockies?
Um, thoughts, expectations are super low. So can't go wrong with a 99 loss season, in my opinion. I'd hate to have that first 100 loss season. We've had some bad teams, but we've never broke that barrier. So I would like to just stay at 99 or better. Is that
I
doable?
would be, I'd be happy with that.
Yeah.
I truly would be, because right now I'm thinking, what the report that you sent out the other day was what 56 wins. That puts us at 109 losses roughly.
Something like that. Yeah, it would be bad. That's pretty much every single report that's out right now is we got 100 losses plus from everybody. Nobody thinks we're going to do any good. My question is we know that the lineup is going to be new. The batting order, we're going to have a lot of different players. The last time we went to the playoffs, it was pitching. Pitching brought us there. We lost Nolan Arenado, and he's a big bat, and
Mm-hmm.
we still got Story. But if you look back to 2018, our rotation was solid. And then I don't know what happened. The same guys, different stories. What do you think happened with Freeland?
I mean, well, Freeland in 2018 he was 17-7.
Mm-hmm.
Had a roughly, what is it, a 2 point, what are my notes?
Like 2.8 ERA.
2.85 ERA, and was lights out, absolutely lights out. And that wasn't even his rookie season. It was one season after.
Yeah.
And then 2019 comes and he's 3 and
Oh,
11 and
I said
throws,
the minors.
damn near sub 7 ERA. It was like Jekyll and Hyde between the two seasons. And it's really going to be telling over the first, probably month or so, even in through spring training, what his control is going to be like. Is he's going to, any increase in velocity? The person I'm really excited about though is the new guy, Gomber,
Oh,
Austin Gomber. So he
yeah.
actually pitched today, looked
I
really
didn't
good.
see the game.
Yeah, so he threw really well for the first 2 innings. I mean, it's 2 innings, but the control looked there, looked good. He is not going to blow anything by you. He's low 90s, 92, 93 on his fastball, but his curveball is a lot like Clayton Kershaw. 6 to 12. He's a left-hander, has some really nasty break on that curve, and it comes in at 72, 73 miles an hour. So it's a pretty good out pitch for him. So I mean, he's fifth in our rotation right now, but I don't see him being fifth for that long.
And I'm gonna have to go ahead and say this. I think we need hard throwers. Kershaw struggles at Coors Field. The curveballs don't break the same way at Coors Field as they do on the road. Look at Marquez. Marquez is our ace right now. He's a hard thrower, hard sliders, hard miss the bat, high strikeout guy. Do you really think Gomber is that style of pitching actually gonna work in our altitude?
I mean, I'm going to err on the side of maybe.
It's always maybe with pitchers out here. I mean,
Yeah, it's just you just never know. He pitched well for St. Louis, and you just if they're able to finagle his starts where he starts more on the road than he does at home. I know it's with the 5-day rotations, it's kind of unique, but you just never know where the schedule just might fall in his favor, where he has 5 or 6 more starts away than he does at home, which might bode well for the Rockies. I agree with you, though, that 2017 with Ubaldo Jimenez, who's throwing 99 and 100 miles an hour, you just have to blow it by people. The problem, I think, with that, logic now is fast forward 13 years, 14 years since we made the World Series, is that I think hitters are better. You evolve and you just can't really blow anything by anyone anymore.
yeah.
Look at, Chapman.
You literally have to throw the ball 103 and movement. It can't just be 103. You're not going to blow it by players at this league. I agree with that. Now I think I have faith in Freeland. I have faith in Marquez. I want Santazella to take that next step, man.
Senzatella.
Santazella. Is that right? Santazella. Whatever.
Just call him Antonio S.
Antonio S. I want Antonio S. to take that next step, man. His first couple years in the league, it looked like he was going to be that that number 3 guy, and then he was not, and then maybe, and
I mean, well, he's our solid number 3 now.
he's
I
a,
mean, because John Gray has fallen off an absolute cliff.
John Gray is
And
like he's like a good this year, terrible this year. He's like in every other pitcher, but last year he was terrible. The year before he was pretty good. The year before, so maybe we got a good year from him this year because
who knows?
it's like every
or maybe he just didn't have enough bad in this
was
last year, because he only I think it was 2-4. So I mean, his ERA was north of 6.5, but it was
bad.
It was pretty bad. And even as a collective, though, it's not just, yes, does pitching matter? Did pitching get us into the playoffs and World Series in 2007? 100%. When Ubaldo Jimenez started the All-Star game and he was 15-1 going into the All-Star break.
And so he should have won the Cy Young that year.
He absolutely should have won it.
With as much as players get it hitting out here, pitchers don't get any respect. Freeland should have won the Cy Young. Jimenez, if there's going to be that much of a negative for hitters, there's got to be a little bit of a positive for pitchers.
Correct. The problem, though, is that at least we just have to score more runs. It was a really unique season for the Rockies last year, where even if we lose, 85, 95 plus games in some of the seasons past, we're still top 3 in RBIs. We're still top 3 in runs, batting average, hits. We put up runs. And the problem with the Rockies, I think, last year was they didn't. They were bottom 3rd of the league in a lot of stats. And and then you can't, and then when you have as bad of pitching,
even when the starters had quality starts, the bullpen was terrible last year.
Horrid. They were terrible. And so when you couple mediocre in Rockies terms hitting and dead last pitching, the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Pittsburgh Pirates won only 19 games last year, and they had a better team ERA than the Rockies did.
It's crazy because last year the Rockies, they were the best team in the West through the first month, and then they won. They were not only the worst over the last couple months, they were the worst by a lot.
It wasn't even close. It was bad.
It was barely winning. It was bad. I'm almost to the point where I would like to get rid of the stupid humidifier, go back to Dante Bichette, Vinny Castilla, and just see if we could build up a Blake Street Bombers lineup again and get those 13 to 12 wins.
It's to that point, then we need to take down that fence that they just built in right field.
Oh, yeah. Nobody wants that. The chicks need the long ball. I mean, Greg Maddox like that.
That's funny. All right, man. So your Nuggets had made some history the other night. That's pretty impressive for them.
It was a low-key stat that I don't think very many people talked about because you wouldn't think about it. But the Nuggets,
because we're in Denver.
If it was the New York Knicks or the Chicago Bulls or the Los Angeles LeBrons, we would know about it. But yeah, so the Nuggets they went 2-2 with wins against the Blazers and the Thunder, and they lost to the stupid Wizards again and the Hawks. I mean, I looked it up. They're 9-7 against teams under 500, but that's terrible. But back to the record against the Blazers, we had 1 turnover in the entire game. 1 turnover. Nobody's ever done that. It's been 2. There's been, I think there was like 5 teams who have had 2 turnovers. And I think it was Jamal Murray, and he had like 9 assists to 1 turnover or something,
which is
like that.
I thought was a really unique stat because normally, when Jamal Murray's on, he's also sometimes on with his turnovers. So he'll get a quadruple double with points, assists, rebounds, and turnovers.
He gets a little, when he starts feeling his shot, he starts feeling his dribbling, and doesn't always work as well. But yeah, the Nuggets had a decent week. Again, they went 2-2. They had a big win against the Blazers, who I think were 4th at the time, and a win against the Thunder. They blew the Thunder out, which about time. I'm a little disappointed because I was looking at the box score in the 3rd quarter of the Thunder game, and only 1 player other than the starters had more than 8 minutes logged, and we were up by 30 points at that point. I feel like we're going to run our starters into the ground. I know we got injuries, but I mean, at that point, figure out your bench. Your injuries are building up. So see if Bobo can play. See if RJ Hampton can play. See if these guys can play before 2 minutes in the fourth quarter on a blowout.
And that would, in my opinion, would help with our second quarter woes when we make the decision to pull our starters off the floor, 3 or 4 minutes of it that second quarter and run with our second team. Games like Oklahoma City are a perfect opportunity for those guys to just get more minutes and get more comfortable on the court. And so maybe we don't lose second quarters by, 9 to 13 points every single time we play.
Every game. It's awful. So yeah, I agree. Everybody on the second team should play more except Will Barton. Will Barton should be
not a fan of Will Barton.
No. I mean, I like him. He seems like a nice guy. I'm not going to say anything bad about his personality, but the guy's got an 11 player efficiency rating. Do you know what the average in the NBA is?
I have no idea.
15. Do you know there's 347 qualifying players for the player efficiency rating, and he is ranked 254.
So you're saying he's great?
Yeah, absolutely great at not being efficient. I mean, his stat line looks okay, but when you watch him play, he plays like this hero ball. He dribbles a lot. He wastes a lot of time. He doesn't have the skill set to be a guy who takes over. But for some reason, Malone would rather play him than some of the younger guys, and including Michael Porter Jr. a lot of times.
Which I was just going to move into MPG. What for him? I was looking over the stats today. He can't have those games where he plays 25 to 35 minutes and scores 8 points.
Right.
That's my problem with him. So, do I think that he should have more minutes and be a higher contributor to the team? 100%. Does he have the talent to do so? Absolutely. Those inconsistencies for me, though, are a pain point. There are some games where, he'll average. For February, he averaged 14 points a game, which isn't terrible. But that's coming off of the first 6 games of the month at, between 6 and 8 points. And there was one game where he played 32 minutes and had 0 points.
Yeah. He's a young guy. And he's on a very short leash, which I don't agree with. If we were playing for a championship and in the playoffs, keep him on that short leash. But how is he supposed to get these inconsistencies out if he can't get consistent minutes? Like, we have to take the 30 minutes. Jamal Murray is 5 or 6 years into the league, and he scores 4 points on 2 of 14 shooting sometimes. So, to me, Michael Porter Jr. is number 2 on the big 3 in 3 years. I think he surpasses Jamal Murray, and he's right there with Nikola Jokic as the Nuggets' second best player. But he has to play to get to that. He has to figure out where he's supposed to be on defense. He has to figure out where he's supposed to move when he doesn't have the ball. But you don't get that if you're on a short leash. You get timid. You don't play hard. You don't play. You stand and spot up because that's what he's comfortable doing. I just think they have to work on their rotations better as far as minutes, because we're gonna wear Jokic out, we're gonna wear Murray out, and we're gonna wear the whole team down. And as hard as it is to admit, this is probably not our championship year, but we can build a championship window if we do things right.
Right. So how many minutes make sense to you?
I think, Jokic has averaged 32 minutes a game for the last 3 years. He's up around like 37. And then a lot of the close games, he's playing like 42, 43. Yeah, in the big games, you're going to want him to play, but I don't know. We have to figure out other keys to this offense, somebody who can control this offense when he's on the bench, because he should sit out at least 14, 15 minutes a game. The 48 minutes, keep him under 35 minutes would be the goal. Keep Porter up above 27 minutes a game. And Will Barton down to about 30 seconds and we'll be good.
So we're 8th in the West right now.
Yep.
It just seems that, that's kind of, I feel like we're going to be the bottom of the best, the
Yeah.
best of the worst right now. So it's just kind of, hey, what do we do to, ensure that we get, into that top five, from 5, 6, 7, and 8, there's only a one game, spread between the bottom 3, bottom 4 teams. It's unfortunate for the Nuggets that Utah is just looking unbeatable right now.
Utah in the playoffs, we have their number, man. I mean, Gobert can't cover Jokic. Donovan Mitchell and Murray, they go at it, but I mean, we're the only team I think that's beat Utah in the last month and a half. They're on fire. But for us, it's just beating the teams that we're better than. If we beat all the non-playoff teams, if you look at all the other playoff teams, I think the Lakers are like 17-3 against under 500. The Jazz are like 18-2. And like I said, we're 9-7. We should be 14 wins at least.
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit last week. We're at 18 wins right now, and we should be at 21. We should have, losing to Washington twice should never happen.
Teams like 4 times or 3 times or something. I mean, we played them 3 or 4 times, and we have not beat them. So we know the problem. We just have to figure out the solution.
We'll just call Mike Malone up. He'll listen to you.
I agree. There's a spot right on the assistant that he can sit at while I'm at the head coach.
The nice part about that is that, if they're able to have fans back at a limited capacity, at least we're able to go to a game, and so he could hear us yell.
It would be perfect because
Michael Porter Jr. needs 27 minutes.
The noise would be lower. We could be 2 or 3 rows back from the fans, and then we could just tell the players what to do, who to go in, what plays to run, and it'd be perfect. They'd hear us great.
Yeah, it'd be, I don't see anything going wrong with that plan.
No, absolutely not. So that brings us to the Broncos. What do you think?
Yeah.
What do you think? Because drafts around the corner, free agencies around the corner, lots of good stuff.
Do you want to start with the topic on everyone's mind is Deshaun Watson?
It seems like so. Deshaun Watson is again met with the Texans ownership and coaches, and again said he will not play for them this year. And Vegas and all the sports betting has the Broncos as like the odds-on favorite to win. It's like plus 150. I mean, that's insane odds to go out on a limb and say that team's going to be plus 150. That's like money. That's like even money almost.
So his contract. So the nice part about the Broncos is that they have some cap space.
They made some cap space. They cut Casey, which is bittersweet because he never really got a chance to play, and he's a good player, just older now. And they cut Bouye, who.
I feel like I didn't even watch him play. I feel like he was hurt half the season.
Yeah, it was meh.
So they have about $40 million in cap space right now. They have some pieces that they could move to make it, closer to 46, 47. Is that going to be enough?
If they can restructure Von Miller, because I'd hate to see him go, like we talked about last week. If they could get him restructured, that could probably save another $10 million in cap space.
Correct. And even as sad as it is, franchise tagging Justin Simmons this year creates a little bit more room.
Yep.
And so they have some moves that they could make to bring him in. What's it going to cost? So say it happens. Say we as Bronco fans, get lucky again, like we did with Peyton Manning. We get Deshaun Watson to come to be a Bronco. Okay. What is it from a salary standpoint? Like, what are we looking at?
I mean, modern NFL quarterbacks are making about $30 million a year. So he's already signed, I think, to an extension. So we would have 2 or 3 years of his current contract.
Isn't he at like closer to 35, 36 million?
Probably. They make stupid money in the NFL at quarterback. I wouldn't doubt it. We don't have any money tied up at quarterback though. So it's not like we would have 2 players making quarterback money. So Drew Lock's on a second round rookie contract, and then they have a couple late draft picks on rookie contracts. So it's not like there's any money tied up there. My thing is I'm 50-50 on this, and I can't decide which is worse. Do we give up all this draft capital to possibly mortgage our short-sighted future to get a franchise quarterback? Or do we build and keep building and try to keep plugging in patches at quarterback to maybe never be this up? I mean,
so I was just going to ask you that question. assume Watson stays either in Texas or goes somewhere else. We don't get him.
Okay.
Do you at that point say, look, Drew Lock, thank you, but no thank you. We've seen what we need to see. You're just not the guy for us, because there are a lot of quarterbacks out in the free agent market right now. A lot that are, call it, second tier quarterbacks. Drew Lock would be a fourth tier quarterback.
You got Jameis.
And so
you got Cam.
You have Cam Newton. You have Tyrod Taylor who could come here. There's a lot of other options that could come in and run an offense. I mean, you have Fitzpatrick. I would take Fitzpatrick in a heartbeat. To be honest with you,
I would Fitzmagic.
Yeah,
shave his beard, he's welcome in Denver.
From a leader, no, he's gonna fit right in Denver. It's just like he's gonna look as hipster as everyone else. You just got to make sure he gets that flannel shirt.
The hipster lumberjack.
Yeah, and so do we go out and get someone like that for 12, 13, 14 million, and then you have all of this capital now to go get call it like a Patrick Peterson, even though he's older because we're weak in the cornerback spot. So from a draft standpoint, you're going to go draft a cornerback with your first pick. Then you go out and get someone like a Patrick Peterson, like McCourty. Do you go get Trent Williams? Huh? Exactly. Someone who could come in like JJ Watt would be just like why am I going blank on his name right now? Super Bowl team.
What team?
Super Bowl.
DeMarcus Ware?
DeMarcus Ware.
Oh, yeah.
So do you get someone like that? And then, and like we talked about a little bit last week of Harrison and the safety out of Minneapolis and from the Viking standpoint. So if you said, okay, we're going to forego Watson and then go out and get Fitzmagic and 4 other, really strong defensive, pieces.
Yeah.
Now, does that give you a better shot?
I'm kind of baffled at how poorly the Broncos played last year, because I look up and down their roster. Their offense has got above average talent at pretty much every position, in my opinion. Their receivers are young but good. We missed Sutton a lot, but he'll be back. Noah Fant has got a lot of talent. He's very athletic, very big, very fast. Bowles played well. Their offensive line played well. Cushenberry needs to play better, but he was a rookie center. They usually have a little bit of problem. So although we're really young on the offensive side, I didn't see a lot of holes. The defensive side, our defensive secondary, we need to improve. We need to improve our pass rush. We need to improve. I like our linebackers. I like the Raptor, whatever his name is, Alexander Johnson.
Yeah.
Is it Alexander or Anthony Johnson?
Alexander Johnson.
Alexander Johnson. I like him. He's full of energy. He's really good. I like him a lot. I like Malik Reed. He's a good situational pass rusher. We need some interior guys to collapse the pocket. We lost Wolf, losing Malik Jackson a few years back after the
that one hurt.
That one hurt a lot more than I thought it was going to. We lost that interior presence to somebody who could push the pocket, and all quarterbacks did have to do was step up time and time again, and you couldn't get him from the edge.
Right. But we also, if Von Miller stays, we'll get him back because he didn't play at all.
Yeah.
And so you have Bradley Chubb and Von Miller. So you're the 9th pick.
I go Caleb Farley with Virginia Tech. I think he's the best corner in the draft. Now, if Justin Fields falls to us, I take Justin Fields. I don't think he's going to fall to us, but I take him if he's at 9.
So you're going to take Caleb Farley over Patrick Surtain out of LSU?
I am.
Or out of Alabama, excuse me?
I am. I think Caleb Farley, I think, is the best cornerback in the draft.
Which is what we need.
Yeah, Michael Parsons is a 3-down linebacker who covers, and tight ends kill us. Tight ends and running backs out of the backfield. So he would be a good pickup. Middle linebacker at 9, though, might be a little aggressive if you trade back. Who are you thinking? Cornerback from Alabama is who you like?
I like the cornerback from Alabama. I like Surtain. I just think he's a bigger corner.
Yeah.
Now, do I think Farley has, I guess, in my opinion, better ball skills. Sure. But at the end of the day, I think they're like dead even on a speed category.
Yeah,
Last time I looked,
both playmakers. They're both good. I'm not going to be upset on either of them.
right.
Um,
I just think Surtan's a little bit bigger. And so when if for whatever reason he becomes, Broncos '1, I didn't mind when Aqib Talib had to cover Rob Gronkowski. It made sense to me when he did that. And so if I could have a 6'3", 205, 215 corner, because I'm sorry, I don't care what safety we have, they can't cover, Travis Kelce. We've seen it time.
Is he on the contract still, Callahan?
Bryce?
Yeah.
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 1 more year.
I like him when he's healthy.
Yeah. And so we just need a bigger corner to be able to, at least match up a little bit, because Travis Kelce, he's a Bronco killer. He absolutely kills us every game, no matter what. It's unreal. And we can't do anything to stop him.
Everybody wants to know how Travis Kelce leads the league in receiving yards. It's because he plays the Denver Broncos twice.
Yeah, because he gets 195 yards a game and 15 catches and 2 touchdowns. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, you take the Broncos away, he's mediocre at best.
Man, so second round draft pick though. Let's assume that we keep Watson. Okay, we get him. We give up picks. We give up a couple first rounders.
What's your package? What are you giving him?
I'm giving him 3 firsts.
3 consecutive firsts. Do you think? I think you're going to need to give up first and second this year to get him. And probably.
I would not go over 4 picks. No way. No, not a chance.
Right. I'm thinking first and second, and be done with it if they do that. That way you're not completely defeated for years and years to come.
Do you go first and second, and a player? You package someone like a Von Miller in there?
I don't think Von Miller's got a lot of trade value to the Texans.
Well, being that they just lost J.J. Watt, they might.
Yeah, but they're young. He's older. They want draft picks. They want draft capital. They would take Simmons probably, somebody that they can draft a couple years and still have a player there. But by the time they're ready to compete, Von Miller is going to be 34, 35. And
true.
So I don't think that's going to add much value to him. But then again, they traded DeAndre Hopkins for a 2nd round pick. So maybe we just need to throw him a 2nd round pick and we'll have Watson.
So if you say, hypothetically speaking, we have our 2nd round pick this year.
Okay.
We lose it first. We have the second. Obviously changes our draft structure and kind of who we go after. At that point, do you still go after a corner, because call it all the top 6 corners are off the table, or do we go after a tackle? I think we need to shore up a right tackle position a little bit more from a offensive line standpoint, or do you go linebacker?
I go interior defensive line.
Okay.
Interior defensive line. I think we've invested a lot of draft capital in the last 2 years on the offensive side, and actually have hit on quite a few of them. So I think we need to get younger and cheaper on the defensive side. There's more holes on the defense to me, and way more money over there.
Right.
Yeah, I think we need to get interior defensive linemen, and then you can pick up a linebacker the 3rd or 4th round. I mean, we got that Denny Trevathan in the 4th or 5th round years back. You find good linebackers because there's not a high value in the league anymore. It's like running back. It's like the running back defensive side of the ball. So you can find good players later in the draft.
And then we make them good and we just give them up, like Shaq Barrett.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Shaq Barrett's a free agent this year. Should we sign him?
I would love to get Shaq Barrett back, but I don't think the Buccaneers are going to give him up.
No, they're going to pay him. He's going to be $15 million a year at least.
Yeah, he's going to get like a 4-year, $50 million contract at least.
Oh yeah, he earned it. Yeah, I mean, I was upset. I thought Bradley Chubb was going to be the guy we needed to be, and he's solid. But Shaq Barrett, man, he was lights out, and we dropped the ball on that one.
100%. So, final topic: Avalanche. won 2 in a row, looking a little bit better.
The power play's picking up. They went and there was a streak in there in the last 2 weeks. They were like 0 for 16.
0 for 16 on power play. You can't do that.
No, and we have some of the best power play players in the league. Like, I mean,
from a point on a power play, you have Cale Makar, who's literally the best person to handle that puck on a power play.
If you go into a lab, create a defenseman who wanted to point your power play, you would come out with Cale Makar.
100% you would.
So
from a Avalanche standpoint, I know we were talking earlier this week around Nathan MacKinnon.
Yep.
Does he have the ability to, win the Hart Trophy this year? He has some pretty stiff competition, specifically Connor McDavid out of Edmonton. So thoughts around that one.
I thought last year was his year. I thought he should have won it last year. I thought he got robbed. I thought he should have had it this year. Or I mean that year, but this year, I don't know. He's got to pick up the scoring. He's not scoring at as high a rate as some of the other players that are leading. I mean, like you said, Connor McDavid, all these guys, all these young guys, all these forwards and centers that are just changing the game.
I think for me, it's 2 reasons. The first, Nathan MacKinnon, from a point standpoint, he gets really streaky. And so, case in point, the playoffs last year in 2020, 14-game point streak, 8 goals, 16 assists, 25 points, most ever in the history of hockey in that time frame. And so he has the capability of doing it, but he goes through then lulls where he will have an assist here or there. He only has 6 goals this season altogether. And does he, do the defenses attack him a little bit different than other players in the league? 100% they do, but he can't be so ebb and flow. And the second thing is that from him and Connor McDavid is that Nathan MacKinnon is surrounded by better talent on the Avalanche. Yeah. And so they look to McDavid to be the scorer. Like, he has to shoot, 30 times a damn game to score 2 goals and get 4 assists because he has to. Nathan MacKinnon has so much talent around him. This team is better than they were last year. Yeah. And so there's just a lot more opportunity from a scorer. You have Rantanen, you have Landeskog, you have Cale Makar, you have Gerard, there's so many,
Soon to be Sidney Crosby.
Let's cross our fingers. And that would be, so I think just, he has more options, and I think he's going to finish the league top 3 in assists because of all of the options he has at the Avalanche. And I just don't think that Connor McDavid has the same talent around him it forces him to be that person every single night.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. I mean, to me, nobody's going to tell me that Nathan MacKinnon's not the best player in hockey right now. I don't think there is a better player than Nathan MacKinnon.
Agreed.
But I don't think he's going to win the Hart Trophy. I just don't. I think, like you said, he doesn't have to press. He doesn't have to be that guy to score 2 goals a game or be 2 points a game kind of player. He's going to play with the flow of the game. He's going to make the plays he needs to make, and they're going to win more games that way.
Yep. Good. We can shout out to Hunter Miska for his first win as a professional NHL goalie.
Yeah.
So kudos to that guy.
Definitely need a backup goalie. So if he can step up, that'll be good for us because we need a number 2.
Yeah.
Play a couple games for Grubauer.
Good stuff, man. So what?
You know what we need? We need like a shout out type thing. We need to come up with a saying.
To shout out who?
Whenever we shout out one of our boys, we need to call it something. So in the future, we're gonna figure that out.
Yeah. So if anyone has any ideas, make sure that you like and subscribe to the video and put in the comments how we could best shout out people so they can so we can get some recognition or get them some recognition.
Yes. Like and subscribe. Next time we'll tell you at the beginning of the video too, so you know exactly what to do.
Exactly.
Right
So at the end of every session going forward, or every episode going forward, we're going to do something called the likely or unlikely.
Okay.
We're going to ask 5 questions. I'll start. I'll ask you 5 questions. You're going to just give me likely, unlikely of these 5 things happening. Rapid fire. You can't think about it. You just have to give me likely or unlikely.
Asking me 5 in a row, or am I
I'm asking you 5 in a row.
Okay. Let's go.
Will Bud Black be the coach of the Rockies past July 15th?
Unlikely.
Will the Nuggets finish outside of the top 8?
Unlikely.
Will Cale Makar win the Norris Trophy?
Likely.
Will the CU Buffs make it into the Sweet 16?
Likely.
Will the Denver Broncos select a DB in the first round?
Likely.
Nice.
And let's touch on that. CU Buffs, man. 2 big wins against California teams this week.
The Buffs, the Buffs are a lot like the Nuggets. I feel like it's this Colorado syndrome, I swear to you, because when you lose to Cal, who's only won 4 or 5 games all season, when you lose to Washington, when you lose to Utah at home, you can't our only home loss was to Utah. So let's think about it. We're 18-8 or 18-7. We should be 21-4 and be the tops of the Pac-12 conference right now.
We shouldn't have won the Pac-12 this year. There's no AU is not AU this year. UCLA is not UCLA this year. We should have won, but we got a chance to win the tournament. We've done that once, so let's go for the Pac-12 tournament. But I think we locked ourselves into the big dance this week with those 2 wins.
Right, and I mean, like we got a good shot. We're at bracketology has us at a 7 seed right now. The funny part is like we're playing North Carolina, which would be a really interesting matchup.
North Carolina's on a bubble they're not used to being on a bubble,
and Duke
too. Well, we don't care about those teams.
No, we don't. Perfect. Well, it's been absolutely fun talking to you this week, Mike. We're gonna, figure this out.
We'll pick it up again next Sunday, 7 p.m. We're gonna figure out how to do this live one time. But
yes,
for now,
if anyone knows how to do it live, just let us like and subscribe. Put that in the comments how to do this live. That would be great. That would help us out. But until next week.
Boom.
See you, Mike.
See ya.